Hello, 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 amazing people, and welcome to this edition of Chit and Chat with April and Kisha, where we talk about all things motherhood, sisterhood, parenthood, adulthood, childhood, and the hood.
So grab your favorite beverage and let's get to chit chatting. So today, my dear sister, I have y'all see this? I had to special order. Look at this. I know, right? Yeah. This is my I need to be half feeling half falutin. I'm in my last day off. I went back to work Tuesday, Wednesday. They said, "Girl, you get a day off tomorrow, but you got to come back Friday." I said, so I'm in my last days before I go back to work after being off for 2 months.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm drinking a crushed soda. Yes, the grape girl.
I was going to
The
say which
grape.
flavor. Great. Okay.
The grape.
Well, I know it's like 150 degrees outside. But we'd have got a little rain, so it cooled off a little bit. So I am in my, you might not be able to see it, my Nickelodeon mug. Can you
I
see?
remember them.
You see Helga. You can
Helga protect you.
yeah. And I am drinking I got a mixture of teas, y'all. I am drinking green tea with a little turmeric and ginger.
Okay.
That's,
Okay.
that's what I got going on. So that's what I got going on today. My calmness tea. So that's what we got. So
Okay.
as my sister said, she is in her last day of being off for the summer because she is a school nurse. So she is going back to the schoolhouse. Um, she going back to the schoolhouse, at high
Good.
school at that. Um, so to start a new school year. So today's episode, we are talking about what parents should do to prepare their children for school from a school's nurse perspective. So I am going to turn it over to my sister, and I ask you questions throughout, but I'm going to turn it over to you. First thing I want you to do is just to describe exactly what a school nurse does, because they have y'all doing a whole lot. They have y'all doing ISS and all kinds of stuff. But what exactly do a school nurse supposed to do?
Yeah. Okay. So by definition, a school nurse is supposed to care for the children and staff in a school setting, i.e., anything that happens to them, if they get sick, if they need band-aids, if they, head lice. I mean, that's the traditional setting um, of what we used to do. Basically, they were like, oh, school nurses only give out band-aids. Okay. School nurses only check and send kids home if they have head lice. Okay. Not no more. Not no more. I have been a school nurse for 14 years. Oh gosh, that has been a long time.
Yes, it has been.
I was a school nurse for 10 years in an elementary school. Um, they are much easier than in a high school. I'm going into year 3 with high school students. And they are by far my most challenging kids. I have um, been ISS, I have been counselor, I have been mama, I have been daddy, I have been preacher, I have been doctor, nurse, um, correctional officer.
You do it all.
I have been everything, and I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, you do it all.
um, so my job now, as a school nurse is I not only give out band-aids and I very rarely check people for hair lice, but we deal a lot with mental health. That is our biggest thing is I deal a lot with mental health. And we deal a lot with kids who have various um high maintenance conditions. So because you can't not let kids be in a regular classroom setting even though they have conditions that seem like they need to have special treatment. So if they have a trach, they are allowed to be in a regular classroom setting. If they have seizures, they can be in a regular classroom setting. If they have a G tube, um, if they have heart problems, whatever, they are allowed to be in a classroom setting. And this basically keeps me with a job because there I am. And just so you know, these kids will throw a seizure in a minute. Um, and we've had kids have heart problems go down. I've had kids with seizures, we had to call 911. You name it, I think I've done it. So, yeah, it's a whole different ball game when you're in a school setting, because there are a lot of things that go on and a lot of things that come into play. It's not like you're in a doctor's office, um, or in a hospital where everybody's there.
Mhm.
You have to literally call everybody but God. And you call on God first because you're running where you got to get to. But you got to call everybody, and while you're taking care of this kid, and then you have look around and you have maybe 20, 30 other kids who are sitting there watching or having to be removed from the classroom, and then they're worried and crying. And so once you're finished, you have to deal with that aspect of it. And so I mean, it's a lot nowadays. It is
Okay.
really a lot. So but it's my job. I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world. I tell everybody I got 5 more years. My youngest one graduates. I'm out of there, but who knows? I may be sticking around. I
You
don't know.
probably
I
will
love
be.
my summers off. I
I
love
know
my
you do.
holidays, my snow days,
And you
my
love the
spring break.
kids. And you love the kids. And the kids
I
love
do.
you.
I do
I know
love the
for a
kids,
true
but
fact. I know that for a
so
true
we'll see.
Yeah, I know that for a true fact because we've been places. My sister and I have been places together, and she'll be, "Is that one of my kids?" And they're like, "Nurse Pernell, Nurse Pernell." So yes, so for the all who don't know what ISS is, it's in school suspension. Um, because we be doing abbreviations. So, all right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask you just a few questions so that the parents can get prepared for their students. So and you basically answer this question with mental health,
Mhm.
but I want to know what school nurses are really seeing. Are there like increase in stress, anxiety, sleep issues, poor hygiene habits? What are school nurses seeing in this, I guess, for the lack of a better word, trend or day and age in the school system?
Um, I think with everything, elementary school, middle school, high school, we're all complaining about the same thing, is the amount of stress and anxiety through the kids.
Mhm.
A lot of people think that elementary kids will not have stress and anxiety levels, but yes, they do. I mean, and the mental health is real. Um, so I can speak to both or all three aspects of it, that the stress and the anxiety for the kids are the biggest problem that we're having. Um, my kids come in on a daily basis, and half of the time they're not even coming in for anything. They're just coming in because they need a mental break.
Okay.
Um, and I've always told them, I'm like, we have two nurses at my school. I'm the first nurse that they see. When they come in the door, they hit the door, and sometimes they're saying, hey, my stomach hurts, or whatever. And I give them 10 minutes, and I'm like, hey, let's check you over. And if there's nothing wrong, you got 10 minutes to lay down, get yourself together, whatever, and then you go back to class. Um, Sometimes they know me well enough that they always say I'm the chill nurse. Miss Pinnell's the chill nurse. She go in, you can tell her everything, and I'd be like, "Don't tell me everything because I don't need to
No,
know
that's right.
everything."
Exactly.
But they do it anyway, and I'm like, I am a mandated reporter.
Exactly.
um, but they will come in and they will be like, Miss Pinnell, can I talk to you? Or they'll just come in, they're like in tears or whatever. And I'm like, go in the room. I'll be there in a minute. I sit down, close the door, and I'm like, all right, what's up? Just what's going on? Just tell me what's going on. Sometimes they'll say nothing or whatever. Sometimes they just start blabbing. It's girls, it's boys, it's all of it.
It's
Um,
puberty.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's stress, sometimes it's home life, sometimes it's school life. Hey, sometimes it's even sports. I've had to even be like, okay, you know, do you want me to talk to the coach? No, you can't talk to the coach because, and I'm like, okay, so what are we gonna do? Because you can't be feeling like this, whatever. I've had to call parents and say, hey, did you know? The biggest trend that I am actually starting to see now, especially with my girls, is self-harm. And I catch it a mile away. I catch it a mile away. And they, like, my girls come in, they're wearing, most kids, 98 degrees, they wearing a hoodie. I get it. But when you come in and you're wearing a hoodie and you're wearing shorts and you asking me for a band-aid on your hands, and I'm like, I know my kids pretty well, and we have 1,400 now because they say we're at capacity. Um, so I have 1,400 kids, and I know probably about 900 of them really well. um, I'm going to ask questions, and I'm going to be like, okay, so, where's this cut coming from? And if you give me some off the wall crazy answer, we're going to have that talk. And it has been in many times where it has led me to take them into a room and I'm like, let me see your arms. And the stuff that they show me, I'm like, I don't even know where to begin.
And with that, you're mandated to contact like the parents.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
they're doing harm to they're doing harm
Themselves.
to themselves. So for those who
Yes.
don't know, if you're in a healthcare capacity, whether it's a doctor, a school nurse, or a nurse, if you're a nurse, RN, LPN, CN, nurse, if you're a teacher, counselor, instructor, like I'm a counselor and I'm an educational therapist. So, if we know that someone is harming themselves or going to harm someone else, even if they don't mean that they're gonna harm someone else, even if they say, oh, I'm a shoot this person.
Mm-hmm.
But they might not mean it. The point is, if someone is harming themselves and say they're going to harm somebody else, then we're mandated by law
Mm-hmm.
to report it.
Right.
So I just want to
Right.
put that little tidbit in there.
Right.
Um,
We asked them questions like, are you gonna hurt yourself now? Do you have plans? Blah blah blah. Most of the times the kids will say no. But they also know that Miss Pennell can read through their crap. So, if they say no, and I know the kid well enough, I'll be like, "Well, crap. Let's head on over to counseling. We need to get some stuff going." Um, and then I love my counselors. Don't get me wrong, I love my counselors. But if I feel strongly enough about something, I will take it to one of the administration,
okay.
and I will say, "Look, I took them to counseling, but this is what's going on." And then I will also tell the counselor and tell administration I'm calling the parent to find out what's going on. 9 times out of 10, the parent already knows, has the kid in counseling or whatever. But I can also let them know what else has transpired, or if the kid has told me other stuff that they may not have told the parent or may not have told the kids. And I know a lot of stuff that it's a thin line between what is HIPAA and can be told in
Mm,
confidence and what is not. And this is what I always tell my kid. If I tell them you can trust me because, and I tell them the story of my own kid with with mental health issues, self harm, suicidal ideation, that sort of thing. It helps them let down their guard and trust me
mm,
to the point where I can help them. So then what I tell them is, if you tell me these things and I feel that there's something else going on, I am going to talk to your parent about it. I just want to know that your parent knows. Now, what your parent does with it, I can't do anything about it. But I just need to know that I have told the parent what is going on.
Okay.
Sometimes they will say, no, you can't, you can't tell. Okay, that's fine. I call the parent anyway, and I will tell the parent, they didn't want me to call you, but I have to. So how you want to handle this after that is what you're gonna do. But, you know, um, so that being said, we've had a ton of kids that have we found to have like, they go missing for like a week or two, and we're trying to figure out where they are. So they were put into a mental hospital, all because they came in, they said something to me, I let it be known, and then they had to go away for a couple days or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Um, they don't get mad at me. They don't do anything. They come right back in there and they're hugging me. They're laughing with me. They're loving on me, and I put them on my radar. I put them on my radar and I constantly ask them how they're doing in the hallway. You good? What's going on? How's the classes? I'm going through, anytime I have a moment, I'm going through, Power School, and I'm looking at their grades, and I'm doing everything I can beyond my own work to try to figure out if these kids are doing good, because I don't want them to slip through the cracks, you
And I
know.
get it.
So yeah.
Kudos to you, my sister. Kudos to you for being that nurse. So kudos. So I want to give at least for parents.
Mm-hmm.
All right, parents, this is a public service announcement. The top 5 things to do before the first day of school for your children, whether it is refilling prescriptions, submitting medical work. What are like your first top 5 things the parents need to do before the first day of school to prepare you and the student?
Okay. So if your child is on medication, definitely get that paperwork filled out. I would say get your paperwork filled out and your medicine filled at least, I would say at least 15 to 30 days ahead of time, so you don't have to worry about having that done at the end. Because what I'm telling you is I do not accept medication without the proper paperwork. I will tell you, take that medication home. You like, my kid needs it. That's not my issue. You better give it to him at the house until you give me some paperwork, because I'm not doing it. We are very strict on following guidelines for the doctor's orders. So we tell you to have everything at hand. We are a district where you have to supply the kid with Tylenol if you want them to have headache medicine, that sort of thing. So we ask you, if your child has menstrual cramps, if they have headaches frequently, whatever, sign that piece of paper. You don't have to get the doctor to sign that one. That's an over the counter. You can sign that piece of paper and say that you want your child to have this medication. Write down what you want them to have, bring it in a small bottle, and we will give it to them when they need it. Um, and then all they have to do is just come and say, "Hey, my mom bought in medication. Can you give it to me?" Sure, that's fine. If they have a daily medication, like I said, make sure that doctor has filled out all the paperwork, that is up to date. Bring it in the original bottle. Don't bring me no pills in no plastic bag, because I'm gonna give it right back to you and ask you, what is this? No, ma'am. um, know that it is against the law for your child to carry medication on them without a doctor's note. So
Okay.
just because your child takes ADHD medicine and they're 17, it doesn't matter. They have to have that is a considered a narcotic, and they need to have it, well, controlled medicine, and they need to have it in the clinic. Um, the only medicines that they can have that have medications that they can carry on them is their albuterol inhaler, their epi pens or Neffy
Mm-hmm.
sprays, and now they can have, their diabetic medicines if needed, so their glucagons, or their insulin if needed. But most of our times, our diabetics keep it in our clinic. And then now they are saying that seizure kids can carry their seizure medications on them, which is fine. We keep some in the clinic, we keep it on them. So if it needs to be administered beforehand, we can. I have a school with 3 floors in it. Um, I'm gonna tell you now, we tell all of our teachers, if you call us with a kid that has having a seizure, we're not running, because we're no good if we're running to you. Because I'm gonna tell you now, both of us, we up in age.
And you got the knee. You ain't got the Megan
I ain't
Stallion
got the
knees.
knees for it. I can swiftly walk. But when I get there, if I'm out of breath, what good am I if I need oxygen and the child need oxygen?
True.
And I'm gonna have to hand it over to anybody. So no, we teach our teachers what they need to do for the student until we can get there. Incident happened right at the end of last year. Student never would have thought. I should have called. I told the kid and the mom, I said I should have called it the day before it happened, because he kept coming in the clinic saying that he wasn't feeling right, but it just didn't dawn on me because he hadn't had one at the school. um anyway, he threw this huge seizure, like we hadn't seen him throw before, and it took two of us. We get there, we're on the walkie. First nurse goes down and she's like, I'll call you if I need you. And like literally before she even gets down the hall, she's calling me and they're giving me a name. And I'm like grabbing his meds. We're rushing down the hall and we get there. And this kid, there's blood everywhere. He's like falling out of his chair. We gave him both his doses of medicine because he could not get out of it. He finally comes around, but he just wasn't himself. So we stayed with them, everything like that. And had it not been both of us there, it could have been. I mean, the teacher was great because when we first got there, she was already down. She had him on her inside. She had his head, in her lap. She didn't care that he was bleeding all over. She was just like, I do the right thing. And we were like, you did excellent. This is exactly what we taught you to do. You did the damn thing. Now just because I'm to call 911. And then our administrators are really good too, because we've taught them when we say do this, and do this, they're on it. So we have like one we'll say call the parent, one call 911. This is what you need to tell them. We're standing there. I'm getting information from other kids, like what happened before. Is everything okay? Are you okay? Did you get blood on you? I'm like checking everything else. And then, in the end, couple days later, the mom comes in and she's like, he's never thrown one of this magnitude at school. I'm so glad y'all were here. And his meds cost $500. We gave him both.
Well,
So,
kudos.
she's like, he's never
Yeah.
had one of this magnitude. I'm so glad y'all were here. I don't know. It's just starting back up again because he had been 7 years without having them. She sent us flowers. She sent us lunch. Like, the kid came in and I laughed at him because I was like, I just want you to know that while you were down now, and I can tell you this now because I love you, but you crop dusted me while you were laying down on the floor. And he was like, oh my God. I was like, it's okay. It's okay. Just thought I'd give you that little tidbit. But I mean, he's a great kid. And then we found out that he's not coming back. He's a senior this year. He's not coming back for at least the first few months because he keeps throwing them. So
The
yeah.
blessings and prayers to him.
So yeah, so I'm just like, but these are the kids that I've kept up with over the summer. I'm like, I'm supposed to be enjoying my summer. I'm keeping up with kids over the summer. What's going on with this one? Is it coming back? Is he all right?
So you basically did two out of the five things you talked about. Two, you talked about the submitting the medical forms, and then
Right.
you talked about prescriptions being refilled and
Right.
ready for the first day. So,
Yes.
and I know you're in high school now, but you were in elementary.
Yes.
So number three would be packing extra clothes for the little ones.
Yes. So, extra clothes for the little ones. The nurses do not keep extra clothes for the little ones. Once so if your child is in pre-K, they should have extra clothes packed in their backpacks so that they can stay in the daycare in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
If they're in kindergarten, you are more than welcome to pack an extra set. Once they're out of kindergarten, that's it. The school will keep a certain amount of clothing for a child just in case accidents happen. And they keep more in elementary school. In a high school, we will keep extra clothing per se for kids. I know I ordered leggings for the ladies. I ordered all black leggings, all different sizes for the ladies because we have accidents. Um, and then for the guys, we keep we basketball shorts. And so because most likely they are playing around and they split their pants. So it's
Okay.
not so much as I've had an accident in my pants. It's more so I've played around and I split my pants.
Okay.
Um, and then the ladies are more of menstrual accidents.
Yes.
So, but what we try
Been
to
there, done
what
that in
yeah.
school.
So what we try to tell the ladies is make sure that you get out and you change your pads or tampons in a timely manner. And if you cannot, because you have some teachers who will not let you out,
Exactly.
then if you wear a tampon, throw a pad on just in case and hit
Exactly.
that bathroom
Been
in
there,
between
done that
classes.
too. Yeah.
Um, you know, you because we're trying to teach them independence,
Yes.
and that these are the things that are going to happen. And when you get into your job, baby, your job ain't gonna carry no extra clothes. And
That's
you
true.
some jobs you can't leave just because you didn't lay it through. You just
Yes.
gonna, you know. Um, as for the little ones, if you are in elementary school and you have an accident and there's no clothes, please be on hand and answer your phone. So we're not asking you to pick the kid up only if they have a bowel movement on themselves. Would you have to pick them up? And I would tell you, I have called parents and said, look, your child had a bowel movement. You might want to take them home, give them a bath. You are free to bring them back. But if you can't bring them back, that's fine. But you are free to bring them back. They just need to have a bath because they had a bowel movement. Other than that, I'm calling you and saying, I just need you to bring me some underwear and some pants, maybe some socks because they've been peeing their clothes. That's all I need. But you have parents who will just won't answer the phone, and then your kids walking around with PB clothes on. So some schools do have washers and dryers now.
Oh, y'all
Um,
highfalutin.
yeah, so I know my school, we have showers and we have washers and dryers. Um, because we have a sped class that they teach independent living skills to. So at any point in time that we need to have clothing washed because sometimes hygiene is not the best,
Mm-hmm.
we can make them shower and send their clothes to be washed. And we have done that. So we can try to work around stuff, but we try to get the kids, and the parents like, look, this is your job. It's not our job to. But if we know that it's not going to happen for whatever circumstances, we do what we can.
So that brings to number 4 for the parents. Review hygiene with teens.
Yes. Yes.
And sometimes it ain't, and when, because these kids are something for the people. Sometimes you got
Yes.
to review hygiene in the elementary and middle school too. So
Yes.
I will let you take over that. Review the hygiene.
So everybody knows that in elementary school, in the fifth grade, they start to do the little hygiene classes, the little life skills, life whatever classes. And they introduce pads to the kids and deodorant and all that stuff. But sometimes them little arms be stinking earlier than fifth grade. They be stinking around third grade, and you be wondering where the onion patch is at, and it be the baby that's walking down the hall. So,
Now onions.
so
I
joke you
know.
not, I have pulled some of my babies in that clinic and said, "Come here, come here. I'm gonna need you to come in here." And I have given them. In the elementary school setting, I used to keep baby wash, baby powder, and I think that was it. I think that was it. Baby wash, baby powder, because I would use the paper towels. And we would wash little underarms and we put baby powder under because I was like, I'm not using deodorant because if you don't use it at home, but baby powder, everybody can throw a little bit underneath them arms and that cornstarch soak that right on up. And they was, and as they got in, sometimes the little girls would come in and they know they smell strong. That's the old people word. They know they smell strong. And they would come in and they'd be like, Miss Linnell,
Yeah, a little
and I'm like, girl, I
musty.
already smell you. Come on. So, we go in, we take care of the issue.
A little
So
musty.
it got to a point where there was a program through Procter and Gamble that I would order like yearly. I would order think it was pads for the girls and deodorants, and then for the boys they only gave deodorant. And then they would send these bags, and then I would hand them out during the life skills class or whatever. And then I would keep a few. Because I would order them in English and in Spanish, and we didn't have a lot of Spanish kids, so I would keep the Spanish ones for myself.
Okay.
Uh, but now that I'm in the high school setting, we have a quote unquote pantry that has food and hygiene products in it. So if the kids need it and they can't afford it, even though I'm at one of the more affluent high
Mm-hmm.
schools, we still have kids who are not as affluent. Um, we have that pantry that they can go to grab food. They can grab personal products or whatever. We keep pads and stuff in the clinic. Um, and I also have some deodorant. I have spray deodorant, and I need to grab some male deodorant. But I have spray deodorant in there because my girls will come in and they will go, I forgot to put on deodorant this morning. And I'm like, in my cabinet, you know, in my cabinet,
Look,
you
squirt,
know.
squirt.
Yeah. I think I've only had one student, and it's sad because everybody knows this one student that has hygiene issues, and it has been an ongoing problem for years. And we literally take into consideration everything that's going on with him, and like we'll like pull him and give him a shower, wash his clothes, whatever. But other than that, I would say the high school that I'm at, I really don't have that problem. They just sometimes it's I forgot my deodorant this morning or something like that. So we have the baby powder, we have some deodorant. I have lotion. Now we're not allowed to give them lotion because we don't know what they're allergic to. But my babies, us, come in there and be like, "You got some lotion?" And I'd be like, "Baby, here,
We're not
don't
trying to
put that
be.
on. They got some shea butter in it.
We
Uh,
ain't trying to be ashy.
don't you be walking around here looking like that."
I know, right? We're not trying to be ashy that you can draw on your
Exactly.
skin. That's ashy. We're
Exactly.
not doing that.
Exactly.
You need a
So
little
I mean,
lotion,
and
some
they do.
Vaseline or something.
Exactly. And they are all about the smelling good. So and we do have we do have one kid, and I think everybody knows this kid. He his walk by win is amazing. I'm telling you, if anybody was to ever just be standing there and this kid walk by, they're gonna do a double take. Cause I was like, what? Like, and I didn't even have to say anything. I, he stood in the doorway of the clinic and we were chit chatting, and I smelled something and I was just like, wow, and I didn't think it was him. And he comes in, he does his thing or whatever, and he goes back out, and he's like, "All right, Miss Fennell, thank you, whatever, whatever." And he's standing in the doorway again, and we're chit chatting again, and the breeze comes through again, and I'm like, and he walks out, and I look at the other student, and I said, "Did you smell that?" And she was like, "Huh?" And I was like, "Okay." At this point, I was like, "Girl, you was." And I was like, his walk by win was amazing. So I came home and I told Anaja, and she called the kid's name. She said, "Mama," she said, "it is amazing." She said, "Everybody knows." She said, "Mama, everybody knows. It is when he walks by, it smells so good."
Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy. So you know you ain't gonna have no problems with him.
No,
No
no, I ain't got no
hygiene.
problem. And you wouldn't think it because this kid just dresses in like basketball shorts and a t-shirt and like, and he's like, and I mean, when they told me what he wears, I was like, oh, we got money, like we
But
got,
yeah,
we
the
got,
point is he ain't gonna be
yeah,
out of pocket because he said
no,
he you gonna
no, honey,
smell
not
him,
at
honey. You gonna know
all.
he coming with
Yes,
the good smell. He got the
get a
good
good,
good
good,
smell.
the good smell.
You are crazy. So to keep it moving, so number 5, which we've already talked about, but you can give like a few more points, is emotional check-ins.
Yes. So my babies check in with me frequently. I mean, even if it's just to open the door and say hi. Sometimes they don't even open the door. My door stays shut to my clinic all the time, and they will yell my name as they walk by my door, and I'm like, stop! Like, what are you doing? Um, so emotional check-ins. I know my ones. They will stop in and see me in the morning before school. They will see me during lunch. If I go down to lunch break, to grab a lunch or grab a salad or whatever. Y'all can see my salads on Facebook. Um, I will, see my kids downstairs and in the lunchroom, and they will holler my name and yell or whatever. Or I'll see somebody walk over and be like, "Hey," I mean, even if it's a group of boys, I'll walk over and just stand there and be like, "Who y'all talking about? What y'all doing? What we doing today?" Um, I'm just that person. If they standing out there, they used to be able to have their phones out. So even if they were doing TikToks, I would go and I stand right there in the TikTok and be like, "What we doing?" And they be like, "Oh my gosh, you missed my TikTok, girl, whatever. What y'all doing today?" So I always talk to them, just ask them how they doing, what's going on, how's classes going, you doing all right, you still with that boy, you still dating that girl, because I know everything. I heard. Let me ask you this. So, but yeah, I do the check-ins with them. Like I said, if I know my kids have some issues, anxieties, self-harming or whatever, I definitely check in on them, and talk to them and stuff like that. But I will tell you, 9 times out of 10, 90% of my kids that come into the clinic on a daily basis come in just to check in with me. And I'm like, that's fine. My counterpart, she doesn't like it so much, but I'm glad that they come in and check in, because then if something happens, I can literally say, I just saw them and this was off, or they seemed fine, or whatever. So, or this is what they said, or something like that. So yeah. Yeah.
So to go back, so the five, because I got notes, that's why I keep looking down. So the 5 things to do before the first day is: 1, submit the medical forms;
Yep.
2, refill any prescriptions; 3, pack extra clothes for the little ones; 5, review hygiene with teens. So even though my sister said something about hygiene, parents, I need you to review hygiene with teens: deodorant, soap and water. If it's a girl, what to do with the menstrual cycle, if they gotta have
Yes.
tampons, if they gotta have pads, they gotta have a little spray down there, because now they
Mm-hmm.
got body spray all over the place now. So review your hygiene with your teens, and you might have to review your hygienes with your little ones. And
Yes.
then talk about emotional check-in, not just for the nurse perspective, but parents. This is your
Yes.
child, so check in with emotional check-ins with your child, because when they're in elementary school, they're going to pre-K and kindergarten. Of course, the parents crying, but the kids might not want to be there neither. Then when they go
Yeah.
to middle school, like 5th grade and going into middle school, even though 5th grade is in elementary, puberty is popping off.
Yeah.
So do the emotional and the mental check-in with your child, especially when they're going from one school to another, like from elementary to middle school and middle school to high school, because they're going into a different school, different friends. Things just change. So do that mental, emotional check-in. And then at high school, definitely do the mental, emotional check-in. There's stress, there's anxiety, there's, like my sister said, the little boy friend, the little girlfriend, when you become
Mm-hmm.
puberty, teenagers don't like nobody. They don't even like us parents. They don't like
Mm-hmm.
nobody. So
They don't even like themselves.
they don't like themselves, and they're more apt to listen to what their friends say than
Say
what the
yes.
parents say. So parents, make sure you do the emotional and mental check-in with
Right.
your child. Your child could be a private person that close them doors, open that darn door. It's your house.
Yep.
It's your
Yes,
house.
definitely.
If
And
they
I guess
go
and
in,
I guess I forgot to say that, because my kids emotional check in with me. I don't even ask. They just be like, "Mama, let me tell you,
yeah.
Mama, can
But
you
that's the
tell?" And
relationship you have with the girl.
yeah,
That's their relationship. Just like my son. My son will
yeah,
call me. I mean, he's very private, but he'll call me, and it could be 1 o'clock at night, and I'm jumping up like, "What's wrong?" Da da da. And, "Oh, no, I just wanted to call and talk to my mom," and then just start talking. Da 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 da. And I'm like, "Okay," I'm like, he act like it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but I'm gonna still talk to my child. So he
right,
does that. Even though he's an adult, he still does a check in. So yeah, so parents do the emotional check-in. So any
right.
last bit of information you need to give out there to the parents as we prepare for them to send the kids back to school, whether it is daycare,
Uh,
elementary, middle, high school, or even college? Is there
um,
any little information?
I'm going through your notes. Hold on. So so just a few things. Um, make sure your child gets sleep.
Mm.
Because my number one pet peeve is when you come in and tell me you don't feel good, but you just want to sleep. Now, sis, get up. Nah, bro, go on back to class. That's not my problem. You played whatever you played all night long, and then, or you've been on that little phone all night long with your little girlfriend, little boyfriend, or whatever, and then you want to come in here and play like you tired, and you can't. No, but you want to go to that game and play in that game on Friday. Guess what? You're not gonna do. You're not gonna come in here and sleep. Goodbye. Goodbye. Mm-hmm.
Get plenty of sleep.
Mm-hmm. Player, play on in the classroom. Um, I tell so yeah, sleep is the biggest thing, and I always tell them if you don't get enough sleep, you're not gonna feel good, and then the whole day goes to crap, and then your grades go down and all that stuff. So yeah, you know what time, and that's one of the things I ask them when they first come in when they say they don't feel good. After I check their temperature, whatever, what time did you go to bed last night? Second thing I ask them is, did you eat breakfast this morning? A lot of times it's no. So the one thing that my coworker and I have started doing is our cafeteria lady, because she used to complain all the time about how much fruit she throwed away at the end of the week. And we would say, well, that's funny because we got a bunch of kids to come up here and be like, y'all got a snack, y'all got a snack. So what she started doing was she started bringing us the fruit. Do you know? And downstairs in the cafeteria, the kids got to pay for the fruit. Upstairs in the clinic, they ain't got to pay for the fruit. Guess where the fruit be going? The kids. So she will bring us apples, pears, oranges, bananas, whatever fruit that she has, peaches, whatever fruit that she has that could possibly go bad. She will bring us a bowl, and every 2 or 3 days or whatever, we will set it out on the counter. If you come in that clinic and you tell me I'm hungry, I look at you and I say, get a fruit. You tell me you don't want a fruit, I can't help you. That's it. That's not on me. 9 times out of 10, there is something in that bowl they're going to get, unless they're allergic to it. A lot of times they don't even come in, they just come in and be, I'm just getting fruit. All right, you know, I just need a pad. All right. And then they get a pad and a fruit and be gone. I don't care. As long as you are getting something to eat and I don't have to hear you tell me your stomach hurt because you didn't eat, that's fine. So making sure that they eat. And what I tell them is energy drinks is not a food. We banned energy drinks. I've been on my soapbox about energy drinks. My own kids, they have tasted them. They go, "Oh my God, they're so good." I said, "If I see it on your lips, just know you're gonna get popped." I'm just telling you that right now. You're gonna get popped, soda can smacked out your hand, whatever. It'll probably be abuse at that point, but it is what it is. Because the amount of energy, the amount of caffeine in those energy drinks is the equivalent of having 3 or 4 cups of coffee. And it does stuff to your liver. I had a kid that all she did was drink energy drinks. She had like 4 or 5 energy drinks a day. By the end of the school year, she was complaining about her liver hurting. I said, "Baby, you got to drink water."
Mm-hmm.
When I told her mom, when her mom finally took her off the energy drinks and started listening to what we were saying, she started having better issues. Liver wasn't hurting, nothing like that. Goes to the doctor. The doctor was like, "Yeah, your liver was getting messed up because you were drinking too many energy drinks." So I hate energy drinks. I tell them all the time. They're like, "Well, this was organic. This was good for you." No, it's not. It's still the ingredients may be organic, but that caffeine is still in there, and that's what you don't need. I would tell my kids, I would rather you drink a cup of coffee than for you to go out here and drink an energy drink. Do that. I'd rather you do that. So yeah, ban the energy drinks. Because that is not good for them. And then what is my other thing that make sure your child is hydrated. Kids do
Okay.
not like water.
I know. I was that
I
kid.
don't like water, but I force myself to drink it. But kids especially don't like water. But this is what I tell them. I know. Get a We encourage our kids to get a water bottle. We encourage them to drink. Our water machines are not like we keep bottles in the school. They do propel, so they have the flavor ones they can buy. They have the regular water bottles they can buy. They have the vending machines they can buy. They only turn the vending machines on after at lunchtime, and all of the sodas and stuff in there are zero sugar. Yeah, girl, I can't do it. Um, but they also have the water fountains that are there. But the water fountains that we have in the school system now are the ones that you can either drink like the old fashioned water fountains, or you can put your water bottle up to it
Okay. Oh,
and
y'all
it fills it up.
highfalutin.
Half a looting, girl.
Y'all is highfalutin.
So,
Y'all got the ones you put the water bottle, the water coming. Y'all is
So
highfalutin.
yeah, so I'm like, get that water bottle, all these Stanleys and all Owalas and Yetis and whatever. Get you a water bottle, get your child a water bottle, have them fill it up. Because the first thing they would say
Y'all
is,
in
do
the
you have a
county
water bottle?
school. The county school.
Exactly. Yeah, do you have water bottles? Do you have water bottles? I'm like, no, I got 3-ounce cups, baby. Go in there and drink 3 of those. That's 9 ounces. That's about as much as I can give you. Um, and they do. They will come in there dehydrated. They will come in there half dead or whatever. And as soon as they start getting water in them, they perk right up. So make sure your kid is hydrated. Talk to your kid about drinking water, drinking water. Washing hands. Lord have mercy. Please teach your children how to wash hands. Hand sanitizer is good for the first 4 times. I would even go so far as say the first 3 times. After the third time, if you use a hand sanitizer, you need to wash your hands with soap and water. If you go to the bathroom, wash your hands with soap and water. Do you not know how many times them kids roll up out that bathroom and I point right back in that bathroom? They look at me and I'm gonna go wash your hands because I did not hear no water. I can hear everything y'all do in that bathroom, and they be like everything, and I'm like everything.
Everything.
So I know you didn't use it while you're in there vaping. Go
Yeah,
wash your hands.
wash your hands. They should know from the pandemic.
Yes,
One of the things for the
wash your
pandemic, the
hands.
biggest thing was wash your hands.
Yep,
Get into
wash your
your, if you
hands.
got fingernails, get into them fingernails,
Yep,
them cracks and crevices. Wash your hands like you about to do surgery. Get
yes,
into it.
yep.
Get
Wash
into
your
it.
hands.
So
So
wash it
I
and then
don't
rinse it
even
out.
have hand sanitizer. So they have hand sanitizer on my wall, but I don't even use hand sanitizer. I just go ahead and wash my hands. And I use soap and water whenever I do. I'm like, no, I just rather do it's just, and I don't like the smell of hand sanitizer after a while. It's like only one particular hand sanitizer that I like the smell of, but the rest of them I don't. And I'm like, nope, I'll just wash my hands if I can't get my hands on the one I like. Um, so yes. So yeah, washing of your hands, especially after you use the bathroom. Um, and then one last thing, make sure your child is up to date on all of their immunizations.
Okay.
Um, the law in Virginia states that your child cannot start school without certain immunizations. And any school that allows kids to come in conditionally with no immunizations and no record of having like a medical exemption or religious exemption or anything is breaking the law. So what we do is every year, me, this person here, goes through all 1,400 charts of those kids, and I match them up to what we have in the Virginia information system for immunizations, and I make sure that they have everything that they need to have. And if they don't have something, I'm on there calling the parents saying your kid needs to have this. And if they don't, you gotta go. The other thing is that we also require that the kids have their meningococcal. So seniors have to have before they can come in. Right now, we are down to, I want to say, 75 kids that can't even start school, don't even have, they're calling, I don't have my schedule. Well, you should have been had your meningococcal. So we done told you this since the last part of last year. After your 16th birthday, you need to get it. Get your second dose. You know you're going to become a senior. You need to get it. So yeah, they're now fighting with us about not having their meningococcal. Guess what? You can't start school, baby. So I think I even printed some stuff out in Spanish yesterday for one of my Spanish kids. He came in and I was like, I should have known it was you. I should have known it was you.
Well, Nurse Pernell, thank you for that information. So for the parents, get your child ready for the 2025-2026 school year.
Yes.
We pray blessings and protection over all the kids, whether you're in daycare, pre-K, kindergarten, elementary, middle school, high school, and even college.
Yes.
Undergrad, grad, professional certification. You could be grown. You're a student. We pray blessings and protection over all students, and we pray blessings and protection over the staff, the
Right.
educators, the administrators, the nurses, the janitors, the nutritionists. If you work with kids, we pray blessings and protection over you this school year. So, with that being said, amazing people, we wish you all blessings and love.
Yes. If you have any other questions, drop them down below.